Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to Barnes & Noble again, but it's pretty special because my haul is getting paid for by that guy right there. So shout out to him. It's his birthday gift to me. So yeah, let's go see what they have at Barnes & Noble. Oh, and for the question of the day, let me know, do you prefer longer manga or shorter manga? Me personally, I prefer shorter manga because my attention span is pretty short. So yeah. Let me know in the comments below. So as y'all know, this Barnes & Noble, I did go here a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, but it was recently renovated, so all the manga, all the light novels are on the first floor, and it pretty much takes up the whole first floor, and it's pretty incredible, and it's a pretty big show, I guess. And I guess they get their audience finally, because a lot of people are in this manga section and light novel section all the time. And we're gonna start with the light novels. As you can see, I picked up 5 centimeters per second. It's a romance that I heard is pretty good and that I need to read soon. And then there was Adachi and Shimomura, which I also heard is very good. And it's also Yuri, which is right down my alley. And then I picked up the Ancient Magnus Bride, which I think got a season 4 recently, this past anime season, so shout out to all the people who enjoyed that. There was Bloom Into You regarding Saika Sayaka. I do have volume 1 of this, and I plan on getting the rest. I just need to read the first volume, and then I'll continue picking up the rest of the series. Moving forward, there was Baccano, which I heard had a pretty good anime adaptation. I know it's only like 12 episodes, but made by the same people who made Durarara. I think it's in the same universe too, so I'm sure it's pretty good because Durarara was pretty good. They also had some Ascendance of a Bookworm, Bottom Tier Nozaki-kun, Bofuri, Bungo Stray Dogs, Grace Gods. They had some Index side stories, which I did read. I did read all of Old Testament for Index, and it was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't gotten onto New Testament, but who knows? Maybe one day. Class from the Elite was there as well, which just finished its season 2 and is getting a season 3 next year. Then they also had Date Alive, volumes 1, 2, and 4. I think they're published up to volume 6, I think. So they're making pretty good progress because it's been about a year since the publishing started. Moving on, there was some Pretty Boy Detective Club volume 1, which did get adapted by the anime. And then looking further, there was a bunch of titles that, didn't really interest me, but they're there. That's the thing with light novels, they have some crazy titles, so yeah. And speaking of Durarara, there was some volumes of Durarara next to a volume of The Devil is a Part-Timer, which did get a season 3 announced, which is great for the fans. Shout out to them. They had some Goblin Slayer there as well, some Full Metal Alchemist for some reason, Eminence of Shadow. This is getting an anime adaptation, and 86 was there next to it as well. Volume 10. I have the first 5 volumes. I need to read them. I just don't really have the time. And then they also had, I've seen this series a bunch. I forgot what it was called, but I believe it's a Chinese story. Correct me if I'm wrong. They also had some Haruhi there, and more Haruhi as well. They had the Haunted Bookstore, Heaven's Official Blessing was there, which is very popular. I see it at Kinokuniya all the time, and I think that's another Chinese title. And looking further, they had some High School DxD, which, if y'all know, I think that's the best ecchi series, and contrary to popular belief, it's pretty good if you look past all the fan service and everything. It actually has a pretty solid story in my opinion. And then we had some How to Not Summon a Demon Lord up there, and I Hear the Sunspot, if you can see over there. I'm in Love with a Villainess. And then they had some I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, which I haven't seen the movie of. It's pretty mixed, pretty divisive, I would say. The Irregular of Magic High School was there. The Invaders of the Rokujima. One of my favorite light novels was there. I need to get back on it. I really do. I say this every video when it pops up, but I do one day want to get back to it. And then they had some Danmachi, on the shelves, as well as Katanagatari. I always see Volume 4 here, never Volume 1, which is unfortunate because I would pick it up because I heard it's one of Nishio Isen's best works, but it is what it is. They also had a Volume 5 of Bloom Into You over there on the shelf for some reason, which was misplaced. Kuma Kuma Bear was there, and yeah, they had some Magic Girl Doctor. My Hero had a light novel, which very much surprised me. They also had some My Life as a Villainess next to it, and then some Origairu Volume 14. I say at every video that I really enjoy the series and I need to finish it. I'm on like Volume 12, so I just have 3 more volumes to finish, but I haven't picked it up in about a year, unfortunately. So I need to get back onto that. They had some Monogatari light novels there. I own every single volume. Haven't read one, unfortunately. And there was some No Game No Life next to it as well. They also had some Penguin Drum light novels. I believe these adapt the anime, because the anime was an original, I believe, so yeah. They also had Volume 8 of Rascal Does Not Dream of a Bunny Girl Senpai, which recently got an announcement that the next 2 arcs after the movie were going to get adapted, so that's great, and I enjoy Bunny Girl Senpai, so I'm pretty happy. They also had some volumes of ReZero, as you saw, and Rising of the Shield Hero was also there as well. Ride Your Wave, I believe that was a movie. I forgot what it was about, though. I know it was showing in theaters for a bit. So yeah, they had a Seraph of the End light novel as well, which I found funny because I don't think that series is that good. So A Sister Is All You Need is there. If you know, you know. Strike the Blood was there, and then they had some Solo Leveling, some Spy Classroom, and then some Spice and Wolf next to it as well. They also had So I'm a Spider, So What. I believe that's an isekai. It's never really interested me, so I always just pass it over. But speaking of isekais, there was the time I got reincarnated as a slime, which is one of the better isekais. I used to be a giant fan of it. Not so much anymore, but it is what it is. I do know that the anime original movie is coming out soon, so there's that. They also had The World's Finest Assassin light novel there. In all honesty, I thought it was a manga, but I guess it's a light novel, thinking that it's an isekai. So most isekai are usually light novels, so yeah. They also had the Attack on Titan box sets, pretty much all of them, and then the Summertime Rendering box set as well was there for volumes 1 through 3. The Death Note All-in-One edition, which I heard is insane to read because it's like a super thick book and it's really hard to turn the pages in the beginning and the end because of the weight difference on each side. They also had some quintuplets box sets there. I do think the art of it is really nice, but I don't know if I would ever read it. And they also had some slime there as well. We've seen that slime box set before. I do wonder when they're coming out with the next one. So yeah, there was also some Bleach box sets and some Fairy Tail box sets as well. And then moving on to the manga section, there was some Sailor Moon over there. Sailor Moon was there, and then there was also some A Sign of Affection. I don't know what it was about, but it is a shoujo series. This is pretty much kind of the shoujo section, I guess. There are a lot of shoujo titles there, I must say. Shikimori was just a cuties there, which is not a shoujo. And then they also had some Sweat and Soap right there. I heard it's a pretty wholesome manga, despite what the title says. And they also had the Tokyo Revengers Omnibuses here, volumes 1 through 2 and 3 and 4. Next to it was Tokyo Ghoul Re, which is one of my favorites. People say it fell off in the second half. Me personally, I absolutely adore the series. They also had some Weathering with You and We Never Learn. Haven't seen Weathering with You, heard it's pretty good. And then We Never Learn, not really a big fan of. They had some Whisper Me a Love Song, which I heard is very much like Bloom Into You, but a lot of people don't think it's as strong. I'll have to see for myself. They also had some To Loveru there, which I tried watching, but couldn't get past 9 episodes, so it is what it is. A Silent Voice was there as well, which I heard is very different from the movie, and then Saint Young Men was also there. I always see these omnibuses there, and decided to look at it. I guess it looked pretty interesting. Some Sakamoto Days was there. Heard that series is pretty good. Some controversial things about it, but I don't mind a bit of controversy. They had some Saranzamai, I believe it's called, which I've got on my plan to watch list for anime. And then they also had the Sleepy Princess
in the Demon Castle there as well, which has also been on my plan to watch list for anime. Maybe I'll just read it. So yeah, To Your Eternity was there, which is coming out in this upcoming anime season with Chainsaw Man and Mob Psycho. And then they also had some Trinity 7 as well, which is an ecchi series that I do want to get into, actually. I've been meaning to get into it, but, you know, I always just put things off. They had some Witch Hat Atelier over there, volumes 1 through 6 or 7, I believe. And then they had Twin Star Exorcists over next to it as well, next to The Tunnel to Summer, The Exit of Goodbye. I did hear, I believe that title is a light novel as well. Don't quote me on that. But yeah. And then they also had some Snow White and the Red Hair, which is kind of the first time I've seen it on the shelves, which was pretty interesting. I've always seen it around when I was looking for romance anime to watch, but I just never got around to watching it. Believe it or not, I'm a pretty new anime fan. I only started watching in 2020, so yeah, during the whole COVID thing. They also had some Solo Leveling, some Say I Love You there as well. I can't believe they're already on volume 5 of Solo Leveling. It feels like they just started like printing it and they're already up to volume 5, but manhwas are pretty long, so they're probably not that deep into the story as well. They had some Teasing Master Takagi-san, more slime manga there, Undead Unluck, which I heard is one of the better Shonen Jump titles, and then they also had some unicorn manga, which I gave to my friend. Wolf Children was there. I heard that's a pretty sad movie, no lie. And then rounding out this side of the section, they had Worlds End Harem, which got rave bad reviews for the anime. And then they also had some Splatoon. Splatoon 3 just came out. Have not played it because I do not have a Switch. If you know what happened to it, you know. They also had some Seven Deadly Sins, the omnibus and the singles. I didn't know there was an omnibus, so yeah, that was pretty interesting to see. And then they also had some Star Blazers 2199. I do see these on shelves a lot, but I haven't really heard people say anything about it, so I don't know if it's good or not. Let me know in the comments below if you've read it. Shaman King omnibuses were there. Spy X Family was like taken a whole chunk of the shelf, and then next to it was some Spy Classroom, and the same with Hana-Cocoon. I keep getting them confused. A bunch of those took up the shelf as well, and then a bunch of Vinland Saga volumes were also on the shelf as well. So Wotakoi was on the bottom next to World Peace, which Wotakoi just ended, or got its final volume published, so there's that. And then they had some XX-holic omnibuses. I love the art for XX-holic, but I just couldn't get into the story. I don't know why. It was just all over the place for me. So I couldn't really get into it, you know. They also had some Yokohama, which just released the deluxe edition. I heard it's a very cozy slice of life, so it definitely interests me. They had some Yona of the Dawn next to it, some Yotsuba. Speaking of cozy series, Yotsuba is one of them. My friend came up and showed me Princess Mononoke. He thinks it's the best anime to ever exist, which I think is very funny. But there was also The Way of a House Husband, Tokyo Ghoul. Steins Gate was on the walls as well. I believe that's Steins Gate. They also have Steins Gate 0. Actually, I think that was Steins Gate 0. So yeah, Steins Gate 0 was there, and then Summertime Rendering was there as well. That cover looks insane, so I don't know what's going on in that series. They also had some Soul Eater, which, you know, like I said before, I think I'll watch the anime first and then read the manga. They also had Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is his favorite manga. He thinks Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the GOAT, so yeah, shout out to him for real for always coming through, filming videos with me. Means a lot to me. If he's watching this, he's probably not. They also had some V-Stars up here, and on top they had a bunch of Attack on Titan omnibuses. Some Bungo Stray Dogs were there, some Buck Naked was there. They had some Breasts Are My Favorite Thing in the World, which I think is very funny. I heard it's a pretty good romance. I'm not too sure though. With a title like that, it's kind of crazy. They also had The Breaker, which I believe is a manhwa. Some Boys Run the Riot. They had Death Note Black editions over there. I do eventually want to collect those once I read the manga online. Some Haikyuu and Fairy Tail were there as well. And then looking down below there, they had some Danmachi manga. I never really got into Danmachi, even though it was in like the same, I guess, tier as Tuaru, which I very much enjoyed. But yeah, I never really got into it, unfortunately. You had some Komi Can't Communicate over there as well. Some more Invaders of the Rokujima, which is a light novel in the manga section, which I thought was funny. Some Grand Blue Dreaming, some Eminence in the Shadow, the manga version, not the light novel version. And then they also had some Boruto, some Banana Fish. Notice how I just skipped over Boruto, like it was nothing. They also had some Bake Monogatari. They had the volume I needed, volume 6, actually. But I don't think we ended up picking it up. They had some Azumanga Daioh, and then Blue Period Volume 8, and Boarding School Juliet. Notice how I pointed to both, because both are 10 out of 10. So if you haven't read either, go read them, because you're missing out. They had The Daughter of the Emperor, some Danganronpa on the shelves as well. Blue Giant was there. I'm surprised they didn't have The Duke of Death and His Maid in this section as well. There was some Blue Lock, which is getting a 24 episode anime for some reason, so I don't know if I'll check it out, but some of the frames or some of the panels I've seen from that manga are absolutely nuts, and not in a good way. Some Dragon Ball Super, some Dragon Ball Z, some Goblin Slayer on the shelf as well, some Gleipnir. Given was there as well. I've heard people say that the Given anime is better than the manga because of the music that accompanies it. So I think if I were to experience Given, it would be in anime form. Kaiju number 8 was next to Kaguya-sama Love is War, which is on volume 23, and is slated to end soon, unfortunately. I haven't read some chapters in quite a while. I'm letting them stack up until the series ends, and then I'm gonna go on a big binge. They also had Volume 5 and Volume 8 of Bloom Into You. I love the cover of Volume 8 for Bloom Into You. I think it's fantastic. They also had some Blood on the Tracks there, which I heard is pretty crazy. The art looks crazy, I must say. Dorohedoro, speaking of crazy art, was there as well. The Gantz Omnibuses, Hunter x Hunter, which is getting a new volume for the manga readers in a short while, I think. So there's that. Jujutsu Kaisen took over the whole shelf, the whole bottom of the shelf. Some Full Metal Alchemist omnibuses and singles, and Full Metal editions were there as well. I actually didn't know there were 3 versions of Full Metal Alchemist, so there's that. There's also some Nagatoro, some Assassination Classroom. I do hear this is pretty good. Ass Class is pretty good, so I need to watch it or read it. Bleach was there, which is finally getting its 1,000-year Blood War arc adapted as an anime this coming season, as well as Chainsaw Man, which was there as well. They also had some Dig Fight Island, which is my friend's favorite manga, so take that as you will. Some Defrag was next to it, some Fruits Basket, Collector's Edition or Ultimate Edition was there as well. Demon Slayer was just all over the shelf. I mean, literally, it took up like all the shelf. Some Food Wars was there as well, next to Fly Me to the Moon. I really do wish that Fly Me to the Moon had more, I guess, variation to the story, but it is what it is. Some High Score Girl was there, which is a CGI anime as well, which I do want to check out. Some Hell's Paradise was there. Man, I wish the series was better or that it hit different for me. The MC really had the look for something that I would enjoy, but it was just alright. Some Fire Punch was there as well. Some Black Butler next to some Black Clover. Akame ga Kill is there, which I want to read because I want to see if it's any better than the anime, which shouldn't be too hard. Some Cells at Work was also there. Fire Force, all over the shelf, which is crazy how popular it is actually. Some Cardcaptor Sakura, what many people call a classic, including my girlfriend. She tells me to read it all the time, but I'm just like, whatever. The Case Study of Vanitas was there. Cat Gamer was next to it, which I didn't look at, but I'm noticing now. Berserk, Singles were all there. More Death Note singles and omnibuses were there as well. I think if I were to get Death Note, I would definitely get it in the box set or the black edition because they look just so cool. And the covers for the singles are pretty crazy. And then there was just a bunch of JoJo's over there. Yeah, just a bunch on the bottom, along with the Jujutsu Kaisen. And then when you turn around, there's even more, more manga. Some Mason Ikoku was there, some Maid-sama, which is a classic shoujo. I've heard My Hero Academia took over the whole shelf, basically, as well as the One Piece. It actually went onto the next shelf, which is crazy. They had some Pretty Boy Detective Club next to Pompo. Shout out to Pompo. They had some Saga of Tanya the Evil, next to some Sadako-chan. Some Ruby was down there as well. Pokemon Adventures was there as well. And then, yeah, just a bunch of My Hero was on this shelf, which is crazy to me. Noragami was there. Nozaki-kun was next to it. Noragami Omnibuses were also there, so I guess they're publishing Noragami Omnibuses now, which is something to look out for. They also had some Persona 4, Persona 5 next to it as well. And then, yeah, Persona 5 I didn't really finish. I'm not gonna lie to you. Persona 5 Royal, by the way. I didn't finish. I was on the final boss, but I just didn't really finish it. They also had some Magia Record, another story. I confuse this with the different story, the Madoka Magica different story. So, yeah, spoilers. We end up getting that. And speaking of the different story, it's right there next to Made in Abyss. They also had some My Dress Up Darling there, some Mashuko Tensei, and then some Nisekoi over on the shelf as well. And yeah, honestly, it got really busy, probably because everyone saw the Rent a Girlfriend and they were like, damn, I need to get that. Parasite was also on the walls as well. But yeah, a lot of people came through at this time, so I kind of got really shy to record. New Game was there, Nichijou. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the manga section here. Just a few more manga that I looked at. Moriarty the Patriot is one of them, and then yeah, we kind of got nervous and decided let's just move on. So Monster was also there as well next to Mob Psycho 100. And yeah, that's pretty much it for what we looked at. Just the last few mangas here, and then shortly you will see what we got, which I think was a pretty impressive haul, especially for how much I usually spend. I usually just buy 2 manga. We were able to buy a good amount of manga. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy that.
All right, y'all. So we came to Barnes & Noble, and yeah, we got some stuff. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of dark, but Magia Record, Volume 1, Bloom Into You, and Pun Pun. So yeah, pretty solid haul. I don't know what we're gonna do next. Probably gonna go bowling, but yeah, that's it for the video. I appreciate y'all watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Appreciate all the support. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.